This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So first of all, I'd like to bring you up to date with what's happening with the sunken yacht, Basian, what we know. What was a rescue operation is now, I think, effectively a recovery operation. Very little chance of anybody being alive now. 4 bodies have been recovered from the vessel, so there's still 2 missing. We understand that the divers forced their way through one of the windows or portholes to gain access. Part of the setbacks have been to do with debris that's been in their way, wiring, lots of stuff that's been thrown around inside the vessel. Also, because of the depth, which is approximately 50 to 57 meters, we've had a number of different depths talked about. But around that depth, divers have limited time in the water without specialized equipment. Now, in the previous video, we said that they'd been using specialized equipment, but this is apparently not the case. A number of subscribers who are divers contacted us and told us that if they'd had specialist equipment, they'd be able to stay down for much longer, but that the equipment is quite bulky, and that's probably why they're not using it, as it would hamper their attempts to access narrow passages and spaces. So appreciate everybody who contacted us. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, there's 4 bodies have now been recovered. 2 of them have been identified as Mike Lynch, the owner of the yacht, and his daughter Hannah. The other 2 bodies have yet to be identified as we record this video. Now, the divers have reported that the mast is still intact, so this refutes earlier reports that the lightning strike had broken the mast, causing the vessel to sink. We already discredited that theory anyway, because as our surveyor said in the previous video, the breaking of the mast is more likely to allow the vessel to be more buoyant and less likely to heel over in the way that they described in that video. So this brings the known fatalities to 5 that we know of. One of them is the crew, is a member of the crew, the chef, Canadian Antiguan Ricardo Thomas, Mike Lynch, the owner, as I said, and his daughter Hannah, and the 2 others who are yet to be named. And there's been a lot of wild speculation in the comment section of the previous videos and all over the internet, which is kind of, is normal now, unfortunately. But a lot of the speculation here, it revolves around what the crew were doing, how some people managed to get off the boat and some didn't, etc., etc. I would say that, we don't know exactly what happened yet. We should be careful about wild speculation like this, and certainly placing blame on any particular person or persons. How some people survive tragedies like this and others, it's something that's always a mystery. There have been many instances where there's been plane crashes and the person sitting in one seat survives, the person in the next seat does not survive. Inexplicable, seemingly. One of the things that's been discussed in the comments quite a lot, which is quite weird, is that the wife of the lawyer and the daughter managed to escape and yet the husband did not. Which is somehow a conspiracy in itself. Something like this can be explained without it being a conspiracy. For instance, the wife may have been seasick. The Basian arrived a few hours earlier. She could have gone up to the lounge or another area to get her bearings. Maybe she felt more comfortable up there. I've worked on many vessels over the years where people have done odd things when they're in a storm or when the vessel has been rolling. That makes them feel better for some reason. When I worked on a cruise ship, we had really rough weather one night, and I was doing my duties, and I walked through by the purser's desk, and there were dozens of people sleeping on the floor with the duvets and pillows in front of the purser's desk. It didn't make any sense to me how they felt more safe there than they did in their cabin, just less comfortable. But it worked for them, and that's what they did. So inexplicable to me, but it helped them out. So the wife could have gone upstairs to feel better. Another reason is the wife had a child of less than a year, so I would imagine the child is nursing. So maybe the child woke up and she took the baby outside and not to wake the husband. So there's many reasons to explain it without it being some sort of conspiracy. Many comments about why the captain left the yacht before the guests. Captain of the yacht, James Catfield, is in hospital, therefore obviously sustained injuries. He did speak from his hospital bed and simply said, "We didn't see it coming." Now, more importantly, this is an unprecedented incident. Vessels do not sink this quickly. It's extreme that this has happened. Just bear that in mind. This is not a normal vessel sinking. Now, we've got some video footage here. I think it's in a place called West Haven. I may be wrong on that. I'll correct it on screen if it's wrong. In 2019, when a similar weather front with a mini tornado or water spout came into a marina, it flipped a 15-meter or 50-foot catamaran upside down in the water and then hit a sailing vessel, which we understand was a 45-meter sailing vessel. So this was a 56-meter, there's a 45-meter sailing vessel, 147 feet. And you can see what it does to that sailing vessel. I'll play that for you now. So you can see how quickly the weather comes in and how easily it flipped that vessel over. So you can, there was somebody in that catamaran as well, and he survived. He was injured, but he survived. Now you can see how that incident could have happened very quickly, giving everybody very little time to escape. Now, another video that you may or may not have seen is apparently CCTV footage of the yacht as the water spout comes in or the weather front comes in. The vessel appears to just quite eerily disappear into the night. However, in the footage, the vessel, up until the point that you can't see it, the vessel looks quite stable. Now, it's possible that it's just simply the visibility of the camera becoming less and less as the storm gets stronger and stronger. And that's why it seems to just disappear, into the night, as I said. It's also possible when we look at the AIS data to explain why the yacht seems to vanish the way it does. So we'll put the AIS footage on the screen. First of all, we'll go back a little bit. We'll rewind a little bit. We're looking at AIS data, and this is based on tracking the Sir Robert Baden-Powell. This is the yacht where the captain, he saw the flare from the life raft and they rescued those people onto his yacht. That was called the Sir Robert Baden-Powell. However, we can see that the Bayesian arrives approximately 2000 hours UTC, which is 2200 hours local time. AIS is always in UTC. The sailing yacht is already at anchor, and you can see the yacht's anchor track there on the screen, and you see it moving around in a way that is indicative of a vessel at anchor on AIS track. Now, both vessels can clearly be seen moving in a way that is indicative of vessels being at anchor for a number of hours. However, if we look at the AIS data, which I touched upon in the first video, that seems to show the vessel to be underway. I can explain that also. But if we look at the other sailing yacht, the Baden-Powell, we can see that both vessels suddenly move in an identical way in the same direction, most likely from the wind, probably dragging anchors as well. Now, like I said, this is based on AIS data, so it could be a glitch, but it seems to show both vessels moving in a way. Obviously, this is speeded up as well because, otherwise it would take too long to watch. But yeah, just bear in mind, it's not infallible AIS. It does sometimes show things that didn't actually happen. But if it did happen, it seems to show both vessels moving in the same direction, right? Which would explain the wind blowing both vessels, dragging anchors. Now, this was around the time that the captain said the weather came in at 0400 hours local time. And the last transmission received on AIS data from the Bayesian is at 3:05 and 55 seconds UTC, which would have been, just after 5 o'clock local time. Then we see, if we advance the AIS data, and then we see another vessel coming in, which is one of the rescue vessels. Now, it's possible there are other vessels there that just don't have AIS broadcasting, such as military vessels and other search and rescue types. Now, we spoke to a former engineer who worked on this type of vessel from Perini Navi, and he said that the vessels have a swinging type keel housed in a keel box in the hull open to the sea underneath, and they have a pivot pin and a hydraulic ram to raise and lower it. It's not really important what the pivot pin is. He said normally they are not lowered at anchor or underway, but are only used for stability when sailing, with the sails. He said he's heard that if the keel was dropped at anchor, it would make a knocking sound as the boat moved from side to side, and this would be play in the pivot pin, or in the pivot, sorry, and would be annoying for the guests and crew and noisy, not to mention loud and stuff when you're sleeping. Although he said he couldn't remember if he's ever experienced it himself. Now we're planning to talk to him more in a future video, or planning to talk to him and report what he says in a future video. Now there's an interesting article by Boat International that's just been posted. They managed to speak to some of the crew who survived the sinking. The article says that the crew members who were up on deck were able to evacuate the yacht with minor injuries, and the yacht is understood to have sunk in just 12 minutes. I'll post a link to that article in the description so you can go and see it. It's a very interesting article. I'm not going to try to read the entire article in this video, but I'll post a link below anyway, and you can go and check that out if you want. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any information for us, any photos, etc., please be sure to get in touch. In the email address and the ticket is our preferred way. You can also get us on social media as well. Please be sure to like the video. It helps with the algorithm, and subscribe for future updates if you haven't already. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.